The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2, in conjunction with Colfax High School, presents Viking Pregame. A look at today's Colfax Vikings boys game. And now, Viking Pregame.
Good evening and welcome to the NLWN2 studios. Rick Olson here, and tonight the 9-5 Colfax Vikings, who are 4-4 in the Dunn St. Croix Conference, will step up and try to challenge one of the top teams in Northwest Wisconsin as they take on the undefeated Osceola Chieftains, who currently lead the Middle Border Conference with an 8-0 conference record. The Vikings are coming off a 56-51 loss to the Mondovi Buffaloes last night, while the Chieftains are coming off a 62-42 win over the Altoona Railroaders on Tuesday. Coming up in this edition of Viking Pregame, we'll take a look at tonight's matchup between the Osceola Chieftains and the Colfax Vikings. Then we'll get Coach Noel's perspective on tonight's game in Coach's Corner. Following that, Jay Fall and Dan Petshaw will bring you all the play-by-play action of tonight's game. So it's time to get ready for some exciting high school boys basketball. All that coming up right after this brief timeout. You're tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back to Viking Pregame, where we're getting ready to bring you all the action of tonight's game between the undefeated Osceola Chieftains and the Colfax Vikings. The Vikings are looking to bounce back from their loss to the Mondovi Buffaloes last night. Now, in that game, the Vikings fell behind by as much as 10 points in the first half, but battled back to take the lead late in the game. Mondovi, however, fought back and took the lead in the final seconds to secure that win. Now, in the game, the Vikings were led in scoring by 5'9" junior Elijah Ensminger, who hit on 11 field goals and went 2 for 2 from the free throw line and matched a season high of 24 points. He was followed by Jack Charlo, who hit on 6 field goals and went 4 for 7 from the charity stripe for 16 points. So far on the season, leading the way in scoring for the Vikings is Charlo, who's averaging nearly 18 points per game. He's followed by Ensminger, who's putting up almost 16, and Nick Jensen, who's chipping in over 8. Now, leading rebounders for the Vikings are Charlo, who's averaging 10 per game, and Jensen, who's pulling down somewhere right around 6 per game. Now, the Chieftains come into tonight's game unbeaten at 15-0 and leading the Middle Border Conference at 8-0 following their 62-42 win over the Altoona Railroaders on Tuesday night. The Chieftains are fielding a veteran team with 8 juniors and 4 seniors. Look for the Chieftains to be led in scoring by 6'4" senior guard Braden Bradway, who's shooting nearly 44% from the floor and 36% from three-point land while averaging a whopping 23 points per game. He's followed by 6'10" senior Carson Holman, who shoots at a devastating 68% from the floor while adding nearly 11 points per game, and 6'3" junior Tegan Vibrock, who's chipping in another 9 points per game. On the boards, the Chieftains are led by Holman, who's pulling down nearly 7.5 boards per game, while Vibrock and Bradway managed to grab over 6.5 per game each. Now, so far on the season, Osceola is scoring at a 64-point average while giving up 40 points per game. The Vikings are averaging around 59 points per game while allowing an average of 55. Coming up next, following this timeout, we'll get the coach's perspective as we chat with Vikings head coach Mark Noel on Coach's Corner. You're tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 are proud to announce that this spring they will be your viewing home for Eau Claire Cowboys football. Check out www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com for times and dates. That's Eau Claire Cowboy football on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Time now to see what the coaches have to say. It's Coach's Corner, where they look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. And now, Coach's Corner.
Once again, we're talking with Viking boys head coach Martin Knoll on Coach's Corner. Coach, last night the Vikings were defeated by a conference rival, the Mondovi Buffaloes, 56-51. Your comments about that game?
Well, obviously it was a heartbreaking game, and the fact that we did not pull it out. I felt bad for the boys. We definitely had our chances. I love the fight that we had in us last night. We got down as many as at least by 10, 11, and found our way to take a 3-point lead. But that 3-point lead was with like 9 minutes left, so there was obviously a lot of time left. And then we had some chances down the stretch that we just didn't convert on our chances. And that's just how the game of basketball is. You've got to take care of your opportunities when you get them, and we just didn't capitalize on a couple of them.
Now, in that game, the Vikings only had 5 players tally points, which is quite unusual for the Vikings. First of all, what happened, and what can the Vikings do to prevent that from reoccurring?
Well, I think, and I think Mondovi did as well. I think they had 5 players that were in the scoring column. And I think what happens is when you have Elijah and Jack, they were stepping up and getting baskets, so the ball just kept going their direction, which is what you want when you got players that are converting, making field goals. You want to keep giving them the ball. So unfortunately, the ball maybe didn't move as much as we want it to. I think it did. It's just we just didn't capitalize on the shots that we got.
Yeah, and I noticed there were some shots that weren't taken that maybe might have been a better choice. I noticed there were a couple times that shots could have been put up, and worst case scenario, you draw a foul, and instead the ball get kicked out for another attempt, and we'd end up turning over the ball and not getting a shot at all, and that had to be kind of frustrating.
Oh yeah, when you're dealing with 16 and 17-year-olds, their confidence is fragile, and you have to constantly be building their confidence up, and sometimes it could be the slightest thing that takes them off course, and then all of a sudden it shows up during the game, and that's kind of what happened with a couple of the kids, I felt. But with that said, I still was very happy with the effort. We held Mondovi to 0 3-pointers made for the game. They've had multiple games this year of 8, 9, 10, 11 threes in a game. So we did an excellent job defensively that way. But it was just a good high school basketball game, and we came up on the short end of it.
Well, from a spectator's perspective, you don't get many that are much better. It's just that the result wasn't quite what we were looking for. And tonight, it doesn't get any easier as the Vikings are going to take on the unbeaten Osceola Chieftains. They're leading the Middle Border Conference. What can you tell us about the Chieftains?
Well, they're a very long and athletic team. They've got a 6'10" kid down low. His last name is Holman, I think is how you maybe pronounce it. He's averaging 11 points, but he's shooting 67% from the floor. And then bigger than that, they have another kid, number 4, Bradway, who's averaging 23 points a game and shooting 35% from the 3-point line. And literally, when he walks into the gym, he's open. He can shoot from anywhere. So we're going to have to defend him, full court defense tonight. And, I've told the boys, hey, we're going against a team like this that's ranked, I think, 5th in Division III, undefeated. We have nothing to lose. We're going to go in there. We're going to give it our best. We're going to find out some more things about ourselves. But let's see if we can go in there and shock the world.
Well, in looking at the roster, you kind of hinted at this already. The Chieftains really have a height advantage over the Vikings. They are, as you said, 6'10", 6'4", 6'4", compared to the Vikings who are 6'4" and 6'3". How does a team deal with that kind of height disparity?
You got to chop them down at the ankles. That's the only way you can do it. Just kidding.
We'll be looking for who's got the hatchet concession there.
But ultimately, with the 6'10" kid, you cannot let him just post up on the block. You've got to get him off of the block. So I'm going to be asking Big Farmer Nick Jensen to get him off the block. And then we're probably going to send a double once in a while. Off of some kids that don't shoot much for them, we're going to send a doubles and make that kid throw the ball out. So we're going to see what we can do. We did that with Elk Mound where, they have a 6'6", 6'7" kid, and he had, I think, 2 points against us because we doubled him every time he caught the ball. We might do some of that again tonight. But, our main part is going to be guarding number 4 because he literally can shoot it from anywhere on the court.
And just out of curiosity, because I was never a good basketball player, so this is what I've gained from observing. Is this one of those situations where Nick might want to make sure he's got inside position on Holman so that on the boards, Nick might be able, if nothing else, draw a foul against Holman for going over his back or something?
Yes. I mean, obviously, Nick is a very strong player, and he plays a lot bigger than 6'3". I would say he plays like he's 6'6", 6'7" because of how strong he is. So if he can do a good job of just, not allowing that kid to get to the spot, beat him to the spot, make him shoot from somewhere else than what he wants to do, then he's going to do an excellent job. I use my own experiences sometimes when I talk to these kids. And when I played at Mount Scenario College, we had 350 students at that school. We were 40-10. We won the national championship, and we went and played North Dakota State, who had 20,000 students and 15,000 students, and we played South Dakota and South Dakota State as well, and we had 350 kids at Mount Scenario College, and we had no problem playing with those guys. Basketball is basketball. Doesn't matter the size of the school or the size of the player.
Okay, you could still only put 5 on the floor at a time.
Yep.
So, well, Coach, good luck on tonight's game. Hopefully the Vikings can step up to the challenge of meeting one of the top teams in Northwest Wisconsin and get back on the winning track.
Thank you very much. Go Vikings.
You've been listening to Coach's Corner, where they look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? I'm high. Oh. No, you can't.
Welcome back to Viking Pregame. The Vikings are looking to prove that they can play with the best in the Northwest. Now, on the other hand, the Osceola Chieftains would like to keep their undefeated record unblemished. Now, the last time the Chieftains and the Vikings faced off was back on February 12th of last season, where the Chieftains came out on top 68-39, and the Vikings would very much like to get some payback tonight. So the stage is set for some exciting boys high school basketball, and we'll have all the action for you right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Now in just a moment, we'll send it out to Osceola High School, where our broadcast crew is ready to bring you all the action of tonight's boys game between the Colfax Vikings and the Osceola Chieftains. That's all coming up next. You've been tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Soon the weather will change and you'll be able to breathe in the clean fresh air of spring. And you know what comes right along with that. That's right, it will be time for Eau Claire Cavalier Baseball. Follow the Cavaliers all season long right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and NLWN TV. Be sure to check out our website at www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com for our current broadcast schedule. You've been tuned to Viking Pregame with a look at today's Colfax Viking Boys game. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Stay tuned, coming up next is live Colfax Viking basketball. It happens to everyone eventually. Your computer goes on the fritz. Fear not, Sladen's Technology Services can help. When your computer decides to not cooperate, it can be very frustrating. Let Sladen's Technology Services keep you from wanting to drive your computer right off a cliff. Sladen's Technology Services supports business of all sizes. They offer assistance with managed anti-malware, encrypted email, fast tech support, data backup, and recovery, and more. Call Sladen's Technology Services at 715-864-2833 and get the IT help you desire. Sladen's Technology Services is the official IT service for the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Colfax Viking Basketball is on the air.
Vikings steal the pass. This is Charlo driving down the left side of the lane, puts it up. It goes in and he draws the harm.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 proudly present today's Colfax Viking Boys Varsity Basketball game.
Down to Jensen and on the right baseline, puts it up and in. This is what you were talking about a couple days ago, Dan. Jensen's got to put those shots up, and he's doing it.
Join us as we head out to the gym for today's Viking basketball.
Good evening. Welcome to Osceola. The Colfax Viking boys on the road tonight as they face the undefeated leader of the Middle Border Conference, the Osceola Chieftains. I'm Jay Fall here along with Dan Petchow. Chris Olson on the camera, set to bring you this crossover game. There's a lot of other Dunn St. Croix teams, most of them playing a Middle Border team tonight, and we'll run down that for you probably at halftime. But we are right on schedule, and we will send it down to the court.
This evening we present a non-conference matchup between the Colfax Vikings and your Osceola Chieftains. Teamwork and fair play are the foundations of athletic competition here in Osceola. So tonight we're here to witness athletes doing their best and expect fans to display good sportsmanship. Now at this time, please stand as we honor America with the national anthem to be sung by Kaylin Keister. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in there, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Thank you, Caleb. And now here are tonight's starting lineups. Starting tonight for the Vikings. Number 3, senior Kyle Irwin. Number 10, junior Elijah Ansminger. Number 12, senior Jack Charlo. Number 23, junior Dwayne Johnson. And
So there you have the starting lineups for tonight's contest here at Osceola. And Dan, should be an interesting one, back-to-back, and after Colfax coming off a tough one last night.
Yeah, Charlo and Nick Jensen are going to have to kind of do their work down low and keep 40 and number 3 off the glass. Here we go.
And the tallest guy in the court, Carson Hallman at 6'10", tips it to a teammate for the Chieftains. And we are underway. Osceola in home white. They're moving left to right as you look on. And that's Hallman up to Vibrock. Give and go to Stefan. Free throw line left down to Zalewski. Back up to Hallman. Pass goes out on the left side. That's to Zalewski. Heads toward the corner and comes back out. Driving in now, Bradway up from the free throw line, bangs around, no, and it is rebounded by the Vikings. Up the floor it goes to Ensminger, down underneath, Charlo! Colfax with the first 2 tonight, 2-0, 17:08 left, first half. Osceola with the ball, Zalewski, other side over to Vibrock, looking around. Inside kept fairly open, Osceola. Running some screens, Stefan up top, then they fire it down underneath to Vibrock. And we have the first foul of the game already. And that will be charged to the Vikings. That will be the first foul on Blake Johnson. Throwing it in, Stefan. Stefan gets it into Bradway. Bradway 20-footer rolls out, no good, and on the line with the inside the line with the rebound is Irwin for the Vikings. He'll get it back from Ensminger. Moving down the far side. Colfax on red. Nice move by Ensminger up from the top of the key. Missed. Trying to get it. Jensen reloads Charlo over the top. And Stefan comes up with the rebound for Osceola. Stefan fires to his right to Vibrock. Back out to Zalewski. Bounces it into Bradway. And he'll get it inside to Hallman for Osceola's first 2. And we are tied at 2 at the 16-minute mark here in the first half. Trying to break that pressure is Ensminger. Ensminger gets it across the timeline. Ensminger down on the right side. Pops it off the glass. Won't go. Pulled off the boards by Hallman. Hallman 6'10", Vibrock 6'3", Bradway 6'4", Zalewski 6 foot, and Aiden Stefan 6'1". On the right side, it's Vibrock. He'll stop at the free throw line, hands it back to Bradway. He'll pop it up from the top of the key, and it's missed. And it is fielded by Colfax's Kyle Irwin, but they'll say he's on the sideline, so Osceola will keep it. 15:34 to go, first half. We're tied at 2, Osceola and Colfax. Alley-oop inbounds pass goes to Stefan. And he'll go across the center jump circle, fires it off to Zalewski. Zalewski out to Vibrock, looks at one. He'll pass it over to Stefan, free throw line left. They leave Zalewski open. Top of the key, three-pointer or outside, missed. Rebounded by Bradway. Bradway trying to go right to left, and there to get the rebound is Irwin, and there is a foul underneath. That's going to be charged on number 1 of Osceola. That's Aiden Stefan. His first and Osceola's first here in the first half. Blake Johnson will bounce it into Nick Jensen. Jensen will bring it out across the center jump circle, fires it back to Irwin. Irwin off to Ensminger. Free throw line right. Ensminger stays over near the sidelines, gets it back up on top to Blake Johnson. He goes into the backcourt, and he can because it was touched by Osceola in there. Johnson heads toward the mid-stripe and comes back out. Tenaciously guarded by Braden Bradway. And that ball goes out of bounds. Last touched by Colfax. Osceola. Stefan gets it back. Free throw line right. Up top it goes to Vibrock. Three-pointer bounces out big. Nick Jensen has it and flips it back to Irwin. Vikings bringing it to their end of the floor. Give and go to Ensminger. Ensminger at the S in Osceola. Near the jump circle. And the pass blocked. Now it goes out to Blake Johnson. Up on top it goes to Irwin. Irwin drives from inside. We're going to have a jump ball, and it'll be possession Colfax. So the Vikings will have it underneath the basket on the left side. Jay Fall, Dan Petchow, Chris Olson on the camera with you in Osceola, non-conference. Middle border Dunn St. Croix crossover game. Back out to Irwin. Irwin up, falls short, but Jensen right there with a rebound, puts it up and in. Colfax goes back in the lead, 4-2, 13:43 left, first half. Up the floor for the Chieftains, Steffen. Then over on the left side it goes to Bradway, and he fails another three-pointer, and Colfax will bring it up the floor. It's Charlo to Jensen. Jensen top of the key for three, bounces out. Irwin gets there for the rebound, loses it. Picked up by Saluski of Osceola, drives in for a layup on the right side and fouled by Elijah Ensminger, so the basket will go. And Dylan Zalewski will shoot one. We're tied at 4, 13-18 to go in the first half, and Osceola with an opportunity to take the lead back. Not happening. That free throw missed. Hallman, though, gets the rebound, then back over to Vibrock. He's going to try to put up again, doesn't go, and Colfax's Blake Johnson will fling it up the floor to Jack Charlo. He'll try to go up over the top of Osceola's Tegan Vibrock and will not be successful, and the foul is going to be charged to Vibrock. That is the second foul of the half for Osceola. And so Jack Charlo shooting for Colfax. First one in. Colfax back in the lead, 5-4. And Charlo to get the second. Goes up, around the rim and out, rebounded by Braden Bradway. Bradway up to Steffen. Steffen across the timeline. Out on the left side to Zalewski. Inside to Hallman, who jams it home for the Chieftains. Electrifying the crowd. 6-5. Colfax trying to break now, full court pressure. Aiden Fisher in the backcourt, timeout called by Colfax. 12:38 to go, first half. Osceola 6, Colfax 5. You're watching Colfax Vikings Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
January is Financial Wellness Month. Weight loss and physical fitness are common New Year's resolutions, but your finances could probably stand to be leaner as well. Dairy State Bank will post tips all month on Facebook and Twitter to help you get your finances in shape. You can also access a library of information anytime in our online education center. Visit DairyStateBank.com and click on the Education Center under the Resources tab. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
Mentioned several other Dunn St. Croix teams playing middle border teams tonight. Durand, Arkansas is hosting Luther, who I assume is on Alaska Luther. They have a record of 12-1. Baldwin Woodville is at Mondovi tonight. Spring Valley at Somerset. Amory at Glenwood City. And tonight's game. Luther, of course, not in the middle border. That foul's going to be charged to Dylan Zalewski. His first and Osceola's third of the first half. Osceola leads 6-5, 12:34 left first half. Inbounds pass goes to Elijah Ensminger. Ensminger crossing the timeline, driving on Zalewski. Ensminger's going to take it, and layup missed. Rebounded by Osceola. Steffen up the floor for the Chieftains. Fires to Bradway. Bradway back in the corner. Dylan Zalewski back out in the corner to Tegan Vibrock. Vibrock out to Steffen. Steffen to Hallman. Up on top to Vibrock. Loses the ball. A couple Vikings near there. Snatched back by Zalewski. And he'll fire it right into the arms of Aiden Fisher. He's bringing it up the court for Colfax. Fisher to Jensen. Jensen from 17 rolls out, no good. Charlo trying to get the rebound, but the little bit taller Braden Bradway comes up with it for Osceola. Down underneath, it goes into Vibrock. Vibrock right in on the reload, and Osceola's up 8-5. Medine bringing it up for Osceola. Medine, top of the key, fires to his left to Ensminger. Ensminger down to Charlo. Charlo for three, rolls off the back, rebounded by Stefan of Osceola. Stefan brings it up for the Chieftains. Vibrock gets it, then way cross court to Stefan, back down in the corner, or that was Zalewski. Now to Stefan down underneath, and there is a foul on the play. Zalewski makes the basket on the left side, and he's going to shoot a free throw. That foul is going to be charged on the Vikings. That is Elijah Ensminger. That's his second foul of the first half. Dylan Zalewski trying to finish off a three-point play for the Chieftains, leading 10-5 over the Colfax Vikings. And makes the free throw. Now 11-5. And it goes to that is Fisher. Fisher dribbles free throw line right, hands it off to Medine. Medine top of the key. Medine loses it. Trying to get it as Ethan Hall for Osceola, and coming to save him is Zalewski. He'll fire it up the floor to Graydon Mork now in the ball game. Down underneath to Hallman, put it up and got it in up against the backboard, and it came down, no good. Fisher driving up the floor for Colfax to Nick Jensen. Jensen out to Mason Yarrington, a three-pointer, rolls off, missed, into the hands of Hallman of Osceola. Then to Hall. Up the floor to Mork. Mork, free throw line left, up on top to Bradway. Bradway looks, fires back over to Zalewski. Zalewski at the free throw line, out to Ethan Hall. Shoots the three-pointer, but traveled first. 11-5, Osceola leading Colfax. 9:53 left, first half. Mark Knoll right down there having a conversation with the official. Inbounds, it goes to Fisher. Out to Medine. Medine up the floor to Yarrington. Yarrington dribbling to the top of the key. Bounces it into Jensen. Jensen outside to Charlo. Charlo in the lane, flips it out to Medine. Medine, free throw line left. He'll drive around the arch now, dump it back to Jensen. Back out on top to Irwin. That's Medine. Medine puts it up, missed. Rebound tapped around. That was last touched by Colfax, going back to the Chieftains. 11-5, Osceola leading Colfax. Jack Charlo coming out, being replaced by Colton Hoffman. Irwin 5'10", Ensminger 5'9", Charlo 6'4", Blake Johnson 6 foot, and Nick Jensen 6'3" as far as the starting heights. Hoffman 6'1", driving in for Osceola, Graydon Mork, and then back outside the three-point arch, drilled by Ethan Hall, a 5'7" junior. 14-5 Chieftains, under 9 minutes to go first half. Losing the ball in the backcourt, Medine, it'll go to number 2 Hall. And popped up over on the left side out to Connor Brown now in the ball game for Osceola. Medine coming out with it on the missed shot for the Vikings. Hoffman up from 7, puts it in. 14-7 Osceola, 8.5 minutes to go first half. Hall out to Mork. Top of the key for 3, it's Bradway, missed, tipped around, reload, that falls short by Mork. That's rebounded by Fisher. Pass up the floor to Medine. Medine dribbling toward the middle, looking for somewhere to go with it. Gets it out to Fisher on the near wing. Fisher going up, puts it in. 14-9 Osceola. Chieftains out of the backcourt. It's Hall out to Mork. Mork to Gross. Back out in the corner to Zalewski. No, check that. That's Hall. Hall, free throw line left, fires to Bradway. So Mork to Hall. Halfway down near side to Ashton Gross. And back up on top to Mork. Osceola very patient with a 5-point lead. Bradway driving top of the key, letting it go for three. Ethan Hall missed. Reloaded up underneath by Ashton Gross, and he draws a foul. Foul's going to be charged to Colton Hoffman. That's his first, Colfax's fourth foul of the first half, as Gross puts in free throw number one. Irwin and Johnson now checking back in for Colfax, as does Aiden Steffen for the Chieftains. Getting things set up at the free throw line or around the lane, as Gross puts up the second one and swishes that one in. 16-9 Osceola, 7:12 left first half. Quickly up the floor, Fisher into Jensen. Jensen loses the ball, and Osceola comes up with it. It's Steffen for Osceola. Up to Mork in the near corner, back to Steffen. Steffen will drive the right side of the lane. Fires it off on the left side to Hall. Hall for three, missed. Jensen pulls it off the boards for Colfax. Irwin out of the backcourt for the Vikings. Fisher from free throw line right. And we're going to have a player control foul away from the ball on Colton Hoffman. That is his second foul of the game. That is the 15th foul on Colfax. Vikings can give one before they send Osceola to the bonus. Hall to Steffen on the inbounds throw. Across the jump circle, out to Vibrock. Top of the key, Mork. Bounces off big. Rebound pulled out by Ethan Hall. And Osceola will set it up again. Back out to Mork. Mork, top of the key to Hall. Hall out to Steffen. Vibrock, Steffen. Oh, and falling down underneath is Connor Brown for Osceola. And the ball goes out of bounds. Back to Colfax. 6:11 to go first half. It's Osceola leading Colfax 16-9. Throw into Hoffman. Hoffman stuck free throw line right, trying to dish it back to Fisher. Ball gets loose. Osceola comes up with it. Steffen will bring it out of the backcourt. Steffen stops high inside to Hallman. He'll put it right in. 18-9 Chieftains. Full court pressure applied to the Vikings. Irwin deep on his end line, comes back out. Irwin drives to the left side. Doubled up on. Going to be fouled by the Chieftains, Aiden Steffen. Fourth foul for Osceola. That's Steffen's first. Inbounds throw goes into the backcourt to Ensminger. And he'll bring it out. Crosses the timeline, drives on the right side, underneath layup, puts it in for two. 18-11. Both teams in double figures now. Osceola with the lead over Colfax. Up on the left side to Hall. Hall in over to Hallman. Back up top to Vibrock. Quick look and then fires to Steffen. Driving in, Hall. Back to Hallman, and just a little weave pattern right up at the top of the key. Off on the left side it goes to Vibrock. Vibrock will dish it back to Hall. Up to Steffen. Hallman looking around underneath, goes to Steffen. Doubled up on by Colfax, turnaround jumper missed, rebounded by Johnson of Colfax. Quickly up the floor to Ensminger. Ensminger waits for the team to jump, and then outside to Irwin. Irwin's three-pointer missed, but the reload under there by Charlo doesn't go. Hoffman gonna try it again. Now Ensminger gets the rebound. Ensminger outside the arch for three, swishes it in. And at 4:28 to go in the first half, it's Osceola 18, Colfax 14. You're watching Colfax Vikings Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Are your animals feeling a little under the weather? Give the nice folks at Colfax Animal Hospital a call. Bruce Buckley is just what the doctor ordered. In fact, he is the doctor, and he's ready to help. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Give them a call at 715-962-3380.
When you have that craving for a home-cooked meal the way Mom used to make it, rest assured, you can still get that meal by going to Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax. Mom's is open daily, serving breakfast and lunch, and don't forget dinner on Friday nights with Mom's famous fish fry. The coffee is always hot, the breakfast is always delicious, and lunch will put a smile on your face and in your stomach. 225 Bremer Avenue, Colfax. Call 715-962-4617. That's Mom's Restaurant and Pub.
Welcome back to Osceola. Chieftains with the ball. They're going to throw it in. Braden Breway to do the honors, or Bradway, sorry. Into Aiden Steffen. Dribbles right across the Osceola in the center of the floor and fires to Tegan Vibrock. Vibrock driving with Johnson on him. Back to the big man Hallman. Driving and trying to reverse layup. Vibrock fouled on the way in. That's going to be, I think, against Colton Hoffman. It is. And I believe that's his third foul. Yes, it is. So on the line, Tegan Vibrock for the Osceola Chieftains. First shot missed. Nick Jensen is coming in to replace Colton Hoffman, who just picked up his third foul. Vibrock makes the second. 19-14 Osceola, 4:12 to go, first half. Alley-oop pass to Jensen. Jensen's going to wait. He'll fire it back to Ensminger. Ensminger one-on-one with Zalewski. Ensminger trying to dribble it low to the floor, and that ball goes off the foot of Zalewski. Colfax will have it over on the far side near the free throw line extended. Inbounds bounce pass to Kyle Irwin. Irwin doubled up on. He tries to get it back to Johnson. It's going to stay with the Vikings. Invite you to stay tuned for our halftiming program, including another player profile with Rick Olson. Nick Jensen fires out to Johnson. Back out on top to Ensminger. Ensminger trying to drive around Zalewski. Ends up down on the left side, waits, fires a pass, trying to get it into Charlo, and it goes out of bounds. Turned over to Osceola. 19-14, Osceola leading Colfax, 3:42 to go in the first half. Steffen crossing the 10-second line. Steffen out to Zalewski. Zalewski to Bradway. Bradway out to Zalewski, to Steffen. Steffen driving up for Bradway, shot missed, rebounded by Vibrock. And a couple of bodies on the floor, and that is going to be a player control foul on Osceola, it looks like. Or, nope, I guess it just went out of bounds. Blake Johnson's going to throw it in. Osceola, very nice facility here. They have a second gym at the end of this one, as you can probably see. And I'm surprised they don't have that curtain down in between, because that photographer down there. And a nice jump shot from 12 feet out. That's by Jack Charlo. That photographer is the only one down there to get that ball when it's flying. Been doing a good job so far. Hallman up to Zalewski. Zalewski to Steffen. Inside, back to Steffen. Steffen up from 8. Rolls off, no good. Charlo grabbing for the rebound. Nice reach there. Over to Johnson. Johnson dribbles by Ensminger. Johnson goes up, puts it in on the baseline, and we have a 1-point ball game again. Osceola 19, Colfax 18. Steffen out in the far corner to Liam Harrington, and that rolls off no good. Or check that was Vibrock. Colfax doing a decent job with the pressure so far, and going in and fouling is Liam Harrington. Or check that. I'm seeing a 1 in front of that, and it shouldn't be. That's Tegan Vibrock. He's going to have a seat because that's his second foul. The 5th one for Osceola of the half. Blake Johnson near half court will fire it in to Kyle Irwin in the backcourt to start things again. Aiden Steffen guarding him. Gives to Jack Charlo, then to Ensminger. Back to Ensminger, left open from 20. Hits the rim, tipped around, and it's rebounded by Osceola's Steffen. Steffen fires up the floor to Mork. Mork with a layup, too hard, miss. Jensen comes down with a rebound, then to Charlo, and we're going to have a foul. Charge to Osceola's Graydon Mork. Nope. Tegan Vibrock again. Maybe they're a little behind on the scoreboard. Out it goes to Irwin. Irwin into Charlo. Charlo goes up, and the big man put his hand up there. Now Colfax will keep it. Waiting for it is Ensminger to Jensen. Jensen up from the free throw line, and Colfax back in the lead with 1.5 minutes to go in the first half. 20-19 over Osceola. Up on the right side to Mork. Mork pops it up from 10, bounces around and down. Osceola 21, Colfax 20. 1:10 left to go first half. Irwin in the backcourt. Irwin guarded by Steffen. Steffen right on him. The pass rolled over to Johnson. Up on top to Ensminger. He'll take a look back for some direction from the bench. He'll keep it up top along and then move down to free throw line extended. Blake Johnson out in the corner. Give and go to Ensminger. Fires it up to Jensen. Then back down left side to Johnson. Johnson out to Irwin. 30 seconds left. Ensminger at the jump circle. Jensen sets a screen. Ensminger goes up, dishes it off to Charlo. He can't keep it outside the arch. It goes to Johnson, and he hits the three-pointer. Colfax up by 2, 10 seconds left in the first half. Steffen moving it up the floor for Osceola, puts it up over the free throw line, rolls out. Hallman will put it back up. He can't get it to fall. Charlo with a rebound, and the Colfax Vikings go into the locker room at halftime leading undefeated Osceola by a score of 23-21. We invite you to stay tuned now for halftime programming. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
To get your lawn or garden to perform like you want, you first need to know about your soil. That's where Midwest Environmental Consultants can help. Their soil testing service can give you a complete rundown on your soil's nutrition and health. They test for nitrogen levels, phosphorus, potash, micronutrients, minerals, pH, and organic matter. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants put you in control of your soil's health. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. That's Midwest Environmental Consultants, soil testers for the Chippewa Valley.
Anderson Bridges, located in Colfax, Wisconsin, has been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. With hundreds of bridges supplied nationwide, we suspect you've crossed our path. It may have been on a pedestrian or bicycle bridge, or how about a snowmobile, ATV, or golf course bridge? Anderson Bridges is likely to have manufactured it. Founded in 1989, Anderson Bridges has been a family-owned company since its beginning and are proud to support the Colfax Vikings.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
Time now for Viking Halftime, with today's Viking profile and other halftime entertainment. That's coming up right after this.
Time now for Viking Profile, where we take a closer look at one of the Colfax Viking players. And now, Viking Profile.
Today on Viking Profile, we're going to get to know Aiden Fisher, and Aiden is a sophomore here at Colfax High School. Aiden, we know you play basketball, but what are some other activities you do here at school?
At school, I think I messed up. I don't know.
Just study, right? Say yes, yeah. That makes the parents happy.
Yes.
Okay, see? All right. So when did you start playing basketball, and what kind of an experience has it been for you?
I started playing back probably in 3rd grade, I think, and it's always just been something for me to do and, like, occupy time.
So what's the most important thing you've learned playing basketball?
Friendship, I think.
Okay, and building good, strong ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're not playing basketball or you're not here at school, what are some things that keep you occupied?
I like to hunt and hang out with friends, and I do once in a while I'll go out and shoot, I can't think of it now.
But you go out and do stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, rapid fire questions for you. Pie, ice cream, cake, or cookies?
Pie.
Which kind?
Pumpkin.
All right. Your favorite color and why?
Orange. I don't know, I think I've always thought orange cars look cool.
Okay, orange cars look cool, and so you want orange for your favorite color. I like that. That thinking. I can understand how that works. Now, if you could have a superpower, what do you think that might be?
Probably fly.
Okay. Yeah, get up above everything from a bird's eye view. But, of course, if you have that ability to fly, you have to have a superhero name to go with it. So what do you think your superhero name might be?
Fishman.
The Fishman, okay. And of course, then you'd be a flying fishman. Yeah, okay. Your favorite NBA team?
Bucks.
How about a college team?
Wisconsin.
All right. Is there a basketball player anytime through your career that's kind of inspired the way you play your game?
I like Russell Westbrook, actually, back when he played for OKC.
All right. Now we're talking with Aiden Fisher on Viking Profile. And Aiden, what are your plans for after high school? I mean, you're only a sophomore, so you got time to change these.
Go to college and try to get a pretty good job that makes a good amount of money.
How about a shout out to the family?
Shout out to my mom and my dad, and then sister, and then my grandpa.
Very good. So when people come to Viking games and they want to find Aiden Fisher on the floor, what number are they going to be looking for, and where are they going to find you?
Probably in the corner shooting some 3 and number 4.
All right. We want to thank Aiden Fisher for joining us today on Viking Profile. Coming up next, more Viking Halftime.
You've been listening to Viking Profile. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
If you're buzzed and doing this, to make yourself feel okay to drive,
ZWX.
You're not okay to drive.
YGKLVW. Regular.
Jason, let's go see your room.
No, that's not right. How was it? Is it good?
You've been tuned to Viking Halftime. Stay tuned. Coming up is second half action of today's game on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
The family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. You tell me to stay rooted. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? The kind to hug or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter what you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to Osceola. An update on the Colfax girls game, which can be seen over on NLWN TV. At halftime, the Colfax girls lead Boyceville 31-3. In this one, the Vikings came from behind. They were at deficit throughout a lot of the first half, but they lead at halftime here, 23-21 over the undefeated Osceola Chieftains. Dan, what do the numbers look like?
Yeah, here's the scores right now for the Osceola Chieftains. They're led by number 40, Carson Holman, who's got 6 points, followed by Dylan Selesky with 5. We have Ethan Hall with 3, Ashton Gross with 2, Graydon Mork with 2, and Tegan Vibrock with 3. For the Colfax Vikings, they're led right now by number 10, Elijah Ensminger. He's got 7, followed by Blake Johnson with 5. We have Nick Jensen with 4. Jack Shallow's got 3. And Colton Hoffman's got 2. 23-21 Colfax. Just a minute left for the second half.
So, as we mentioned, the Osceola Chieftains are 15-0 on the season, and they are 8-0 in their conference. Taking a look at some statistics for them, they've been outscoring their opponents 963 to 678 so far, and they've been shooting 45%, or actually closer to 46. Rebounds about 34.5 a game. So I think those are a couple of things there that's making them successful. Their field goal percentage pretty good from the free throw line. They're about 60%, but almost 35 rebounds a game is doing pretty well. And I think they have not shot near that percentage tonight.
Yeah, and good job by the Colfax interior, Colton Hoffman and Nick Jensen, to keep their bigs off the glass, which made Osceola start shooting outside, and they just haven't really hit. Here we go, second half.
And Osceola starts with the ball. It goes to Zalewski. Zalewski to Hallman. Back over free throw line right to Bradway. Back down on the baseline, Vibrock. Osceola starters are in there, as are Colfax's. Stefan driving in, shot blocked, layup blocked, and Vikings come up with a loose ball. Driving it up the floor, it's Kyle Irwin. Irwin over to Charlo. Charlo on the baseline goes up. Shot falls short, gets his own rebound tied up. It's possession, Colfax. 31 seconds gone here in the second half. Colfax still leads 23-21. Irwin's going to throw it in for the Vikings. Looking for somewhere to go with it. Goes way out on top to Jensen on the right, then inside to Ensminger. Colfax road red. They're moving right to left as we look on here. Charlo driving in with a layup over the big man. Gets his own rebound, or tries to. Ball goes out of bounds off Charlo. And Osceola will bring it up the floor. It's Aiden Stefan crossing the timeline. Stefan out to Vibrock. Vibrock over to Hallman. Hallman to Stefan. Stefan, Saluski. Charlo trying to pull a rebound down, gets loose, and Bradway comes back up with it. He'll go to Hallman. Hallman's shot missed, rebounded by Jensen. Jensen pulls it down, gives it to Ensminger. Ensminger stops free throw line left, dribbles around a screen set by Jensen, bounces it back over to him. Hallman's over there, ball gets loose, and it gets back over to Jensen, knocked down by Osceola. And they'll bring it up the floor. That's Stefan. Stefan out to Vibrock. Back to Stefan, top of the key, coming out from the corner to help Zaluski. And back down to Vibrock. Vibrock out to Bradway. To Stefan, driving free throw line right. Zaluski takes it back to Vibrock. Back out to Hallman. Hallman to Stefan. Stefan up top, goes to Vibrock. To Stefan, and a few steps there. Out to Bradway. Bradway's shot missed, rebounded by Ensminger, and he'll hang on to it for Colfax. Ensminger driving down, pops it up from 12, rolls out, no good. Ball knocked out of bounds. Osceola saved it and got it back in. Stefan between the jump circle and the key, out to Bradway. Bradway to Zaluski. Zaluski heads toward the baseline. We'll flip it back out to Stefan. Stefan to Hallman. Hallman doubled up on, trying to move it somewhere, dumps it back to Zaluski. Then back over on the far side, and we will have a jump ball. That one is possession Osceola. Osceola underneath their own basket. Colfax still leading by 2 as we head toward 15 minutes left, and now we're tied again on the bucket from Bradway. And we will have a foul underneath on the Chieftains, Bradway, or over on the far side, trying to exert pressure, and a little too much pressure there. Got him on the arm. Johnson into Ensminger. Ensminger heads across the jump circle, and it is stolen away by Braden Bradway. Bradway layup, good for 2, and Osceola back in the lead, 25-23. Charlo trying to bring it up the floor. Stefan all over him, or that was Irwin. And we're going to have a travel called on Stefan. So to throw it in, Blake Johnson. Johnson will pass it high to Irwin. Irwin going up against Stefan. He'll bounce it back to Jensen. Jensen coming in on the right side, pops it up from the lane, bounces around, no good. 3 Vikings near it, and it looks like we're going to have a foul down underneath on Tegan Vibrock of the Chieftains. That is the second foul of the half, and they're both on Osceola. That is Vibrock's, that's Vibrock's second, or third, sorry. Around the rainbow, it's Ensminger. He'll take it back to the jump circle and drive it down again. Passes out in the corner to Irwin. He's open, and there for the rebound, Vibrock on the miss. 14 minutes to go, second half. Osceola 25, Colfax 23. Bradway down underneath to Vibrock, puts it in right underneath. It's 27-23 Osceola. Out of the backcourt, that's Irwin. Steffen guarding him closely. Big count. Now he breaks that count. Will take it right up the left side, and the shot falls short. Big man Carson Holman in there. Back over to Vibrock. Vibrock goes up with a layup on the right side. And that is going to be a foul on one of the Vikings. That is going to go against Nick Jensen.
His first.
On the free throw line, it's Tegan Vibrock. The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV are excited to once again be your home for Eau Claire Cavalier baseball. Follow the Cavaliers throughout the 2023 season on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Tegan Vibrock misses free throw number one. So we mentioned at halftime, Osceola is about a 60% free throw shooting team. That one missed as well, but the ball goes back to Vibrock, out to Bradway, misses it, tipped around, and coming up with it, Colfax's Aiden Fisher. He'll wait for reinforcements out to Ensminger. He'll take it down the right side of the line. Back into Jensen. Jensen out to Hoffman. Hoffman driving in, caught on the baseline, and it's saved by Osceola. Steffen then goes up, and then we'll have a foul. That is going to go against Colton Hoffman. That is his fourth. So Hoffman's going to come to the side. He's been scrappy under there tonight for Colfax. 27-23, Osceola leads Colfax, coming up on the 13-minute mark remaining in the second half. Pass goes to Zalewski down underneath to a wide open Braden Bradway, puts in the layup. Osceola stretches their lead out to 6. Inbounds throw, it goes to Bradway, and we're going to have a foul on Aiden Steffen of the Chieftains. And we have a timeout on the floor. 12:47 remaining second half. It's Osceola 29, Colfax 23. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
On those days when you're hankering for something that's delicious and nutritious, simply stop by FitFam Nutrition in Colfax. They serve Herbalife meal replacement shakes, metabolism-boosting teas and protein coffees. They taste as good as they sound, and they're healthy. Come and visit the Bentons and let them prepare for you a simply sweet treat, or something for the chocoholic or coffee lover in you. FitFam is a slam dunk. That's FitFam Nutrition, complete with one-on-one wellness coaching and business opportunities. 1020 University Avenue in Colfax.
Eau Claire has a new sort of new semi-pro football team. The Eau Claire Cowboys and NLWN2, along with the Northern Light Webcasting Network, are excited to be your broadcast home. Follow the Eau Claire Cowboys throughout the 2023 season on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Colfax to throw it in off the timeout, looking for somewhere to go with it, and he ran out of time. 5-second violation. Osceola will get it back, and it's underneath their own basket. Steffen into Zalewski. Zalewski puts it right up and in. 31-23 Chieftains, an 8-point lead over Colfax. And Johnson again, another 5-second violation. Now wait a minute. A timeout called by Colfax. So no violation, it's a full timeout for the Vikings. 12:37 to go in the second half. Osceola 31, Colfax 23. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax has just what you need when you have that craving for a home-cooked meal the way Mom used to make it. Mom's is open from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. daily and until 9 on Fridays with a complete breakfast menu. Lunch includes sandwiches, salads, wraps, and burgers, along with Mom's comfort food favorites, and don't forget dinner on Fridays with Mom's famous fish fry. The coffee always hot, the breakfast always delicious, and lunch puts a smile on your face. 225 Bremer Avenue, Colfax. Call 715-962-4617. That's Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax.
Welcome back to Osceola. Osceola has now, they were down by 2 points at halftime and now lead the Vikings by 8. 31-23 the score. And Aiden Fisher will try to get it in again. And it's picked off by Aiden Steffen. Steffen takes it out. Top of the key out to Harrington. Or check that, that's Graham Mork. Graydon Mork. Mork to Bradway. Out to Steffen. Back to Mork. And they're going to weave it around in there, trying to go up from free throw line extended left. Bounces off big. Rebound pulled out of there by Ensminger for the Vikings. Ensminger now crosses the timeline. Colfax now working on their side of the floor, top of the key. Ensminger up from 14. Shot falls short. Rebounded by the Chieftains, Brayton Bradway. Up the floor it goes to Steffen. Or Steffen takes it up the floor, off to Hallman. Zalewski, free throw line extended left, out to Steffen. Back out to Bradway. Bradway dishes it off to an open Steffen, who puts in a layup on the right side. Osceola leads by 10. It's 33-23, 11 and a half minutes to go in the second half. Baseball pass up the floor to Jack Charlo. Back out to Johnson. Johnson fires it back in the middle to Fisher. Back up to Johnson. And the photographer is on the other end of the floor. So it looks like one of the staff here at Colfax, or at Osceola, had to do about a 40-yard dash to get that one. Johnson goes into Ensminger. Ensminger outside the jump circle, keeps dribbling. Down along the right side, out to a wide open Fisher. Fisher drains the three-pointer. 33-26. Osceola leads Colfax. 10:45 to go, second half. Aiden Steffen setting things up to Bradway. Back out to Hallman. To Zalewski, and it's stolen away by the Vikings' Aiden Fisher. Fisher trying to go up, and ball is stolen away from him by Steffen. Steffen up the floor now, and the ball passed back to Bradway. Bradway outside the three-point arch, gets it into Hallman. Hallman trying to go up, and they're going to say that Ensminger fouled him.
That's Ensminger's third.
It was not in the act of shooting. He got him beforehand, so it's going to go out underneath the basket. Steffen slaps it into Bradway. Shot falls short. There with the rebound is Charlo. Charlo into Ensminger. He's going to fly up on the right side, end up on the floor, misses the shot. Steffen up the floor for the Chieftains. Steffen out to Bradway. In the middle out to Ethan Hall. And a 20-foot shot drained from Brayden Bradway. That was probably even farther than 20. 3 points for Osceola, and they're back up by 10, 36-26. Johnson dribbling near half court. Give and go to Ensminger. Ensminger at the free throw line, puts it up. Nice turnaround jumper for 2. 36-28, Osceola.
Ensminger has 9.
Steffen out of the backcourt. Steffen outside to Bradway. That one bounces off big. Holman trying to get it, and Colfax knocks it out of there and bringing it up. Fisher down to Charlo outside the arch to Ensminger. Ensminger will hold it, drive the right side of the lane, flip it back to Charlo. He'll put up a 3 ball and hits it. 36-31. Osceola leads Colfax, but the Vikings closing the gap. Coming up on 8.5 minutes to go, second half. Goes out to Ethan Hall. Dribbles around underneath the basket all the way up on top. We'll get it out to Bradway. Alley-oops it into Holman. Holman goes up over the top, missed, rebounded by Ensminger. Ensminger being guarded very closely by Mork. Ensminger, fall-away jumper from 10, missed, rebounded by Bradway. Osceola brings it down to set it up again. That's Steffen. Steffen out to Mork. Back to Hall, free throw line right over to Bradway with a pass. Top of the key, swishes the 3. That's Graydon Mork. Osceola back up by 8. It's 39-31, 7:40 to go in the second half. Driving in is Johnson. Johnson driving, and he ends up walking on the end line. It's going back to Osceola. 7:35 to go, second half. Osceola 39, Colfax 31. Johnson coming out, take a breather. Mitch Medine in to take his place. Steffen across the timeline. Fires out to Bradway. To Hall. Hall up on top. Fires it off to Steffen. Steffen underneath to Holman. Bounces back outside the arch to Bradley. He'll put it up for 3. Misses. Holman puts it up and in. Carson Holman, 6'10", does not have far to go under that basket. 41-31. Osceola leading the Vikings. 7 minutes left in the second half. It's Ensminger. Ensminger driving the right side of the lane, going up, and foul is going to be on the way in, and that is going to be charged to Carson Holman. Ball will go out underneath the Colfax basket. That is the first one for the big man tonight. Into Nick Jensen for 3. Catches the iron, missed, rebounded by Charlo. Charlo manages to get it out to Irwin. And that one's missed, but Jensen's under there. He'll flip it back out to Medine, and quickly it's stolen away by Mork. Mork with a layup, taking it on the left side. Osceola with a 43-31 lead. Crossing the timeline, Ensminger. Ensminger keeps dribbling. Goes around to screen by Jensen, then out to Charlo at the Ian Chieftains out there on the far side. Then Ensminger, he'll drive in, puts it up and in. Ensminger, nice baseline layup. 43-33, Osceola leads by 10, heading towards 6 minutes remaining in the second half. Bradway out to Hallman. Manages to get it to Steffen for 3. That's Ethan Hall. Shot, big shot, bounces off big. It's rebounded by Aiden Fisher. Fisher gets it to Charlo. Charlo drives in, goes up over Hallman, misses, and the loose ball will be tipped back into Osceola. Steffen stops at the free throw line, out to Hall. Over to Bradway. Then to Mork. Back to Bradway. He's at the free throw line, driving in on Charlo. He'll dish a pass back to Steffen. Steffen outside the arch for 3. Hit the backboard, and that was about it. Ensminger with the rebound for Colfax. Ensminger drives, pops it up from 10. Good. Colfax pulls to within 8, and Osceola wants a timeout. 5:02 remaining second half. Osceola 43, Colfax 35. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
Are your pooch's proportions putting on pounds? Or is your kitty's constitution constantly complaining? Well, stop by and see the friendly folks at the Colfax Animal Hospital. Dr. Bruce Buckley and his staff will be happy to help you get your family friend back on the road to healthy living. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Call them at 715-962-3380.
January is Financial Wellness Month. Weight loss and physical fitness are common New Year's resolutions, but your finances could probably stand to be leaner as well. Dairy State Bank will post tips all month on Facebook and Twitter to help you get your finances in shape. You can also access a library of information anytime in our online education center. Visit dairystatebank.com and click on the Education Center under the Resources tab. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
Join us on NLWN2 and the Northern Light Webcasting Network Tuesday night as the Viking boys will host the Durand, Arkansas Panthers in a Dunn St. Croix Conference battle. Live coverage will begin with Viking pregame beginning at 6:50 p.m. and that'll be followed by all the live play-by-play action. That's Colfax Viking Boys Basketball Tuesday night on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Osceola with the ball. Pass goes to Zalewski, looking for somewhere to throw it. Coming back out to get it is Steffen. Steffen give and go to Bradway. Back to Steffen at the free throw line. Out in the corner for three. It's Zalewski. That shot falls short. And Ensminger couldn't quite get there. Coming up with a rebound is Mork. Mork to Steffen. Steffen and Mork back and forth up top. Cross court to Bradway. That shot missed. Rebounded by Charlo. Charlo to Ensminger. Ensminger looking, fires it out on top to Nick Jensen, and then taking that three-point shot is Medine. It's missed, but rebounded underneath by Fisher. Colfax keeps it on their end. Ensminger back out to set it up. Into Jack Charlo. Charlo from the free throw line, up and in. 4 minutes left in the second half. Osceola 43, Colfax 37. Steffen out to Hall, or that is Zalewski, sorry. Three-point shot, up, missed, off to Vikings, out of bounds. Charlo and Fisher got tangled up underneath there, and the ball went off one of them and out. 3:41 left, second half. Inbounds throw goes into Mork. Mork out to Bradway. Bradway give and go to Steffen. Steffen out to Mork. Braden Bradway. Back to Steffen. Steffen drives in. Pops it over to Graydon Mork. Puts up the shot. It's missed. Charlo comes up with a rebound. Gives it to Medine. Back out to Fisher. Fisher for three. And the Vikings are within three now, 43-40 against Osceola. 3 minutes left in the second half. Going in Zalewski to Hallman. Out in the far corner down to Steffen. Steffen out to Zalewski. Zalewski on the baseline. Gets it to Hallman. Hallman out to Steffen. Driving in, Steffen. Tosses it back out to Bradway. Then to Steffen again. He'll come in from the left, dish it in to Hallman. And a foul's going to be called on Nick Jensen. So that is the third or fourth foul of the second half for Colfax. Osceola also has 4. And that's the first foul tonight. That's going to be on, well, the scoreboard says 2, apparently on Mitch Medine. His first. Oh, okay. Medine's first. Shot missed. Holman goes back in and puts up 2. 45-40, Osceola. Ensminger across the center jump circle into Fisher. Fisher's three-pointer missed, rebounded by Zalewski. Out to Steffen. Steffen across the 10-second line. Steffen out to Zalewski. Zalewski to Steffen. Osceola leads by 5. We're down under 2 minutes left in the second half. Vibrock. And we have a timeout called by Osceola. 1:41 remains second half. Osceola 45, Colfax 40. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
If you've been admiring the freshly groomed look of a baseball field, or the stunning appearance of a golf course, remember you too can have a lawn with the same beauty by simply calling Midwest Environmental Consultants. Their professional lawn care experts can bring your lawn to its full beauty and appearance. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants help make your lawn the showplace of the neighborhood.
Join NLWN TV and the Northern Light Webcasting Network on Tuesday, January 31st, as the Viking girls will travel to Altoona to take on the Altoona Railroaders in a non-conference matchup. Live coverage will begin with Viking pregame beginning at 6:50, and that'll be followed by all the live play-by-play action. Colfax girls basketball Tuesday night on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Aiden Steffen with the ball for Osceola. In guarding him tight is Fisher. Then he gives it to Carson Holman. And a foul charge to Colfax. That will go against Nick Jensen. That is his second. Throw in goes into Vibrock. And then back out to Bradway, who misses it. Okay, I'm assuming the sideline is that smaller line. Okay. Into Broadway, or Holman. Holman puts it up and in, and he is fouled on the way in. Carson Holman going to try a three-point play here. 1:20 left in the ball game. Osceola now leading by 8, 48-40 over the Colfax Vikings. Out of the backcourt, that's Ensminger. Ensminger across the timeline. Drives the right side, pops it up in. Oh, they're counting the basket. And he will shoot one. The foul is going to be called on Aiden Steffen of the Chieftains. That is number 4 for him. Number 3. So that sends Aiden Fisher, or check that, that's Elijah Ensminger to the line to finish off three-point play. And Colfax wants a full timeout. 1:09 to go, second half. Osceola 48, Colfax 43. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Join us on NLWN2 for exciting Colfax High School Boys Basketball.
This is what we came in for!
Our next game will be on Tuesday, January 31st, when the Vikings play host to the Durand Panthers. Live coverage on NLWN2 begins with Viking pregame at 6:50 p.m. That's live Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on NLWN2 on Tuesday, January 31st.
Join us at the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV for exciting Colfax High School girls basketball. Our next game will be on Tuesday, January 31st, when the Vikings will travel to Altoona to take on the Altoona Railroaders. Live coverage on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and on NLWN TV begins with Viking pregame at 6:50 p.m. That's live Colfax Viking girls basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV on Tuesday, January 31st.
1:09 left. Second half, Osceola Brings the ball in. Steffen will bounce it in to Bradway. Back to Steffen. Up the court to Zalewski. And trying to go up with a shot, Tegan Vibrock. And the layup blocked. And the ball fell out of bounds off him. Or he missed it and it rolled off. 1:02 left. Second half. Osceola 48, Colfax 43. Jay Fall, Dan Petchow, Chris Olson on the camera from Osceola. Out of the backcourt, it's Ensminger. Ensminger across the timeline, drives the right side. Ensminger trying to go up, ball knocked down. And caught in the backcourt with it is Zalewski. Zalewski gets it over to Steffen. Back down along the far side to Vibrock. We're down to 43.6 seconds left in the second half. And going to the free throw line is Tegan Vibrock. That is the 7th foul for Colfax, so they have put Osceola in the bonus. First one up and good. Osceola 49, Colfax 43. Vibrock with the second one. Falls short, rebounded by Jensen. Jensen out to Medine. To Charlo. To Fisher. Three-pointer! 49-46. Osceola leads Colfax.
Aiden Fisher has 3 threes tonight for 11 points.
Jack Charlo with that foul, his first of the game. Aiden Steffen on the free throw line. 31.8 seconds remain in the contest. Shot missed, rebounded by Jensen to Medine. Medine up the floor to Ensminger, too hot for him to handle. And that goes into the near the C Gym bleachers, way on the other end. Osceola 49, Colfax 46, 26.5 seconds remaining. Bounced into Bradway. Bradway fouled by Aiden Fisher. So 4 fouls, 4. That's Fisher's second. This is a 1-and-1. Colfax on their next foul is going to have Osceola in the double bonus. Free throw made. Osceola by 4. Medine comes out. Blake Johnson goes back in. And the second free throw swishes in. Osceola with a 5-point lead. Colfax with 20 seconds to work with. It's Ensminger, fires underneath to Charlo. Charlo puts it up and in, and Colfax takes a full timeout. 14.8 seconds remaining, second half. Osceola 51, Colfax 48. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
Soon the weather will change and you'll be able to breathe in the clean, fresh air of spring. And you know what comes right along with that. That's right, it will be time for Eau Claire Cavalier Baseball. Follow the Cavaliers all season long right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and NLWN TV. Be sure to check out our website at www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com for our current broadcast schedule.
STEM is everywhere, like here, behind the scenes of The Walking Dead.
When we break down clothes, we tumble it with trisodium phosphate, rock salt, and dish detergent.
We stitched together images of our model and created a 3D set that can be walked through in a VR headset.
Osceola with the ball, going to throw it in, Aiden Steffen. Colfax trying to bottle things up. Baseball pass down to Braden Bradway, or Braden Bradway. He'll flip it out to Ethan Hall. And Jack Charlo makes a foul. That is his second. It's going to put Bradway, or it puts Ethan Hall on the free throw line for 2. Osceola leading 51-48 over Colfax. 8.7 seconds remain in the second half. First free throw, good. Viking boys back in conference action Tuesday night, hosting Durand, Arkansas. 6:50 Viking pregame. And play-by-play live action after that. Second free throw goes in as well. Osceola stretches their lead to 5. Inbounds throw, it goes into Ensminger. Osceola backs off a little bit. Ensminger will bounce it over to Charlo. And we're going to have another foul called on Aiden Steffen of Osceola. That is his 4th. 3.2 seconds left in the second half. Inbounds it goes to Ensminger. Ensminger to Charlo. Charlo makes a 3-point attempt. And tonight's final score is Osceola 53, Colfax 48. Osceola goes to 16-0 on the season. The Viking boys are now at 9-6. We invite you to stay tuned for tonight's post-game show. That's coming up. Tonight's Colfax High School basketball game is brought to you by the Colfax Animal Hospital. Let Dr. Buckley and his friendly staff take care of your pet. Dairy State Bank, where they're banking on relationships. Midwest Environmental Consultants, soil testers for the Chippewa Valley. Anderson Bridges, who have been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. Slayton's Technology, IT provider for the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax. Comfort food, the way Mom used to make it. And Fit Fam Nutrition of Colfax, with drinks that taste as good as their names sound. And they're healthy. Be sure to thank these fine sponsors by stopping in and doing business with them soon. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us for Colfax Boys Basketball. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Stay tuned. Coming up next is Viking Postgame, where we'll take a look back at today's Colfax Viking Boys game.
The central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are, they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Time now for Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking Boys game. And now, Viking Postgame.
Welcome back to Osceola. Colfax falling tonight, the boys, at the hands of the Chieftains. Still undefeated. Osceola 153-48. For the Colfax girls, they downed Boyceville, up at Boyceville, 50-17. So Mark Knoll, I think, is, well, he's still talking to people on the court and that sort of thing. So we will talk to him as soon as he gets up here. But 53-48. And Dan, the Vikings had some challenges with the pressure, but then, you know, there were times where they worked their way out of it very well. And the rebounding was very good.
Yeah, first half, I thought Colton Hoffman and Nick Jensen did a good job inside. And, you know, they fought hard right to the end. It was just free throws down the way. Osceola had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They went 6 for 7 in the second half for free throws. And that's pretty much what it came down to, his free throws at the end.
Yeah, you bet. Well, let's take a look at the rest of the numbers here as we look for Mark.
Yeah, here's the scores tonight for Osceola. They're led by number 40, Carson Holman. He had 13, followed by Braden Braid with 9. We had Dylan Salweski with 7. We had Tegan Vrock with 6. We had Ethan Hall with 5. We had Aiden Stefan with 2. For the Colfax Vikings, they're led by number 4, Aiden Fisher. He had 11 points. Or no, I'm sorry. Number 10, Elijah Ensminger. He had 16. Aiden Fisher had 11. Jack Charlo had 10. Blake Johnson had 5. Nick Jensen had 4. And Colton Hoffman had 2. So that comes out to 53-48, Osceola.
So the Viking boys playing back-to-back held their own tonight against a very good basketball team. I mean, I think, from what I saw, this team certainly matches the record that they put forth so far.
Yeah, I think it did help out. I thought about this last night, but, the depth last night, Colfax didn't go deep into their bench, and they saved some players for tonight, and it sure helped.
Okay. Well, Mark sent his assistant up here, and Nick. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Okay. All right. Nick's going to take a look for Mark here, and while he's doing that, why don't we take a break? You're watching the Viking postgame show on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 are proud to announce that this spring they will be your viewing home for Eau Claire Cowboys football. Check out www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com for times and dates. That's Eau Claire Cowboy football on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Mark Knoll joins us. Thanks for coming up, Coach. Your guys did a great job on a back-to-back night against a very good basketball team.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. To have that game last night against Mondovi, and it's a tough loss because we know that we can play better than how we played last night. So I'm very proud of the kids tonight to come here on the road against a team that's undefeated, 15-0, 16-0, ranked 5th in the state in D3, and they got 300 more kids than we have at Colfax, and to give them a fight. We had it down a one-possession game there late, and we had the ball. And unfortunately, it didn't go our way. But you can't fault the kids. The kids just fought hard. I mean, Nick Jensen played a heck of a game inside against their 6'10" kid. I mean, I thought Big Farmer showed him what time it was,
Yes, he certainly did.
And Jack had a tough matchup with number 4. He's averaging 23. I don't know what he ended up with. But he, I thought Jack did a good job against him. And then I think 13, to hold him to 13 when he averages 23, that's pretty dang good.
You bet.
That's 10 under his average. That's why we were in this game tonight.
And your guys were, tenacious and, getting in there and pulling the ball out of there when it was loose. They, made extra opportunities for themselves.
We really did. We really talked about, I've been challenging our guards, about being more aggressive with rebounding. I don't want to see Jack and Nick get every single rebound. It's hard to rebound because Jack does get almost every rebound. And whatever he doesn't get, Nick usually does get. But my guards can't just sit there and watch those guys. So I've been on them about rebounding more because when we get all 5 on the glass, we're a much better team. And tonight we got a lot of stops. So when you limit teams to one chance on offense and that's it, you got a chance to win. And that's what we did tonight. We limited Osceola to one shot every possession.
And Osceola likes to use pressure and that sort of thing, and they turned it on coming out in the second half. But your guys made adjustments to that. You and the team.
They're a very good team. They got some very good athletes, and they're long. They have that one extra guy that's 6'4" out there. They got 6'10", 6'4", 6'4". Where we're 6'4", 6'3", and then maybe 6 foot. So that extra length is huge, but Osceola does a great job with ball pressuring, like you're saying, and it took a while for our guys to adjust to it because, no disrespect, but in the Dunn St. Croix, I feel they call more of those, with the hand checks. And tonight in a bigger game, they're going to let that go a little bit, which is understandable. I have no problem with that. And then we talk to our guys all the time about adjusting to how the game's being called.
So, heading into the weekend then, next week back in the conference swing, back at home against Durand, Arkansas.
Huge game. I mean, we just had 2 great games to hopefully prepare for Durand. They're 7-0 in conference for a reason. They're a good team. We had a great game with them over there, lost in overtime. So I feel like, our kids will hopefully be hungry, and we'll see. I know our kids will play their butts off. That's one thing I know I can always promise. They're going to play their butts off, and they're going to give you everything they got.
And they certainly did that tonight.
Yes, no doubt.
Thanks, Mark, for coming up, and congratulations on hanging in there right with a really good team.
Good, thank you, and I appreciate you guys being here. All the people back at home, I appreciate you guys being here. It means a lot to all those people that can't, get in their car and drive here. So thank you a lot for providing the service.
Oh, you're very welcome. A fun Friday night, and Mark Knoll got to talk with us tonight, the head coach of the Vikings boys, as the Vikings fall to a very good Osceola team, 53-48. For Chris Olson on the camera and Dan Petshaw, I'm Jay Fall. Thanks a lot for joining us tonight. Good night and have a great weekend.
You've been listening to Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking Boys game. You can catch Colfax Vikings games by tuning in to any of the Northern Light Webcasting Network outlets. This has been a production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.